Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. I had a couple of Olympic team rants today, and I said, one of the things I said with KD, I said, actually, being the all-time leading scorer cements his legacy. So KD is salt to a chef. He makes everything better. Eggs, caramel, it doesn't matter. You put him on any team. He got to the finals with Westbrook. LeBron couldn't decode Westbrook, right? He made the Warriors the best team arguably ever. Even in Brooklyn, he was outstanding. The fact that his teammate wouldn't get the vaccine, there's only so much you can do. So, and then you put him on this team. And I said, if you look at even great players, you put Tatum around great players, he kind of shrinks. Steph has to adjust. Embiid clogs it. LeBron takes a leadership role, but won't score as much. KD works everywhere. Now, as long as you don't ask him to lead, don't ask him to do that. Just ask him to fit. He is the salt to the chef. Oh, we've got it. Everything will taste great tonight.
So that's go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
So it's perfect that he, on a collection of the world's best players, that 30 years from now in a bar, you'll be like, who's the leading scorer? Jordan? No. Well, it was Curry, not even close. LeBron? Nope, not close. Okay, well, time out. Let me think. Was it, well, let's go back to the Olympics. Was it Bill Bradley? Wilt? No, it's Kevin Durant. And you'll be like, oh, fuck yeah, it is. Like, because when you ask players, Mark Few's a buddy of mine. He coaches the Olympics assistant. Years ago, I just asked him, like, tell me one thing that's just crazy about coaching the Olympics. And he just went, Kevin Durant, man. That's all he said, right?
He is probably, if you take this is something, Brew hasn't said this exact thing, but he's basically said a different version of it, and I think he's right. Take the 20 greatest players ever, okay? He's somewhere on that. Close to 20, but on there. There is not a single one of them that you can simply drop on every great team in NBA history, and it definitely works, other than Durant.
I totally agree. Agree.
And that it does not matter the era, the rules, what redundancy they already have, anything. Drop him on any great team, and it works. And so that is, and your point is, I think if Kevin heard this, he would say, that's what I've been saying, which is, I don't want to be the leader. When I'm asked about leadership, I'm like, that's the coach's job. You know what I want to do is play basketball. Yeah. And you know what everyone seems to say I'm awesome at? Playing basketball. And you guys tar me, I think, again, this is what I think Kevin would say, with I'm a bad leader. But luckily, my job is basketball player, not leader. So fuck off. Like, I think that's what he's saying. And it's like, it's not a terrible argument, except for the fact that it seems like the other guys in that room of greatness are kind of able to multitask it or have somebody alongside them who's also great who can do it for them. And so it is such a unique thing, because I do think Durant is, I've told you this on the podcast before, but I'll say it again. I had somebody who is super close with one of the greatest players ever, and it's not Durant, say, if we were to line the 20 greatest players up, and they're all at their peak on a blacktop, and asked someone who didn't know about resumes or anything, whatever, who they wanted, who they think the best guy is, and you described, it's like, okay, they points at Michael Jordan. And it's like, all right, tell me about that guy. It's like, well, he's average size, amazing athlete, good, not great shooter, crazy, crazy competitor. They'd be like, okay, next. They point at Shaq. I mean, the most dominant physical force is, gonna come and go with effort, is gonna be a liability at the free throw line, but is gonna give you a guaranteed 30. Okay, no problem. They point at LeBron. All right, not the best shooter in the room, not the best dribbler, probably the best passer, and is probably the best athlete. Okay. What about that guy? Oh, Durant? Well, he's the second tallest person here. He's also the second best shooter. He's also the fourth best dribbler. He also can pass. He can defend. And they'd be like, well, I'm fucking taking him. They're like, wait, he's the second tallest and the second best shooter? They're like, oh, yeah, he can do that. Is he durable? Well, he's going to play 20 years. Like, is he a terrible defender? No, he can, credibly guard a bunch of different spots. But despite that, he's probably kind of underachieved. And all of those things are true. And it's because of that leadership component that he has been honest about, like, I don't think that's my job, so I'm not going to do it. And I think it's fascinating because when he looks his best around the best, and then other guys, when they're around the best, you're like, oh, you're a grade lower, like Tatum. Tatum's around the best, and it's like, oh, you're just a grade lower. Durant's around the best, and you're like, are you the best player alive? Like, it's such a fascinating thing.
Yeah, no, and I think somebody said this once, that the greatest athletes, you wouldn't really want them to be your boss because they have such bad personal tendencies. They're very selfish. They're relentless. They're harsh. I mean, Jordan could be just not a giver, a taker. Same with the late Kobe Bryant. But Kevin Durant actually would be a fun hang. Like, he would be, you could do 82 games and it'd be like, he'd get a drink with you. He would make you laugh. When you were having a bad day, he'd put his arm around you and go, that's okay, bro. Let's just go hoop it.
I totally agree with this. It's one of the, and I've tried kind of, I don't want to say behind the scenes, but I know some people that are tight with Kevin. Yeah. And listen, at one point, I know definitively that Kevin, thought I was one of the people who's kind of a problem with the media. Yeah. And that's his right. That's fine. But I have tried to kind of through back channels, like political stuff, like try to set up a situation where he and I could sit and talk basketball or sit and talk. Because over the last 4 years, I have grown to have such affection, if you will, for kind of just how comfortable he is in his own skin. Like, he's gone a long way from the burners and all that stuff. It's like, nah, if I think you're full of shit on the internet, I'm going to tell you. Like, I thought it was hilarious that, like, a couple days into the Olympics on an off day, he was arguing with strangers on the internet on Twitter. It's like, dude, you got $500 million. You're single. You're wildly famous in the Olympic Village in Paris. And you're like, I got to get these tweets off, man. I don't care. I'm going to sit here and argue with you guys about basketball. And I was like, I found it charming. Yeah. And I also think he has such an immense respect for the game itself that I really like. So I like Durant. I really like Durant. And I agree with you. Like, I do think he'd be a great guy to be on a team with. And I do think he'd be, of all the superstars, one of the best hangs. And it's also probably helpful. He's one of the only superstars of that level that's still like a single guy, like hanging out with the fellas, like Steph and LeBron. Everybody's married with kids. Durant's just like, nah, I'm going to play video games, smoke a little weed, and play basketball. Like, I don't know about you guys. It's a hell of a life, man.
No, it is.